Hello, Sarika. What inspired you to start learning piano?
I started when I was very young. I've always been a very creative child, and I loved music, always, whether it was in the form of dancing or was it trying out different instruments. So I think the keyboard was the first instrument that I managed to get my hands on. And I was in high school when I joined a music school because I wanted to learn in a very structured manner. So I started with the Trinity College of London examinations, and within about 3 years of learning, I had an opportunity to start teaching because my teacher felt like I had good people management skills and I was catching up really quickly. And she said, you're joining college, so it'll be good pocket money. So at that point, I started part time, and I was very young, and I would teach in the evenings after college and on the weekends. And then it slowly, my passion started growing even more over the years. And I kind of completed all my grades in theory and practical. And then when I got married, I moved from New Delhi to Mumbai and I continued my teaching privately. And then I managed to move to New York for 3 years to study further because I have an education in human resources and business as well. And then now I'm based in Bangalore in India. So I continue teaching wherever I go. And that's pretty much like my journey.
So, your journey started a little bit later on, because a lot of people that I've talked to who are very heavily involved in music, especially piano and performance, they've started at a very young age. And I even consider my start to be a little bit later. I was like around 9 or 10 years old. So it's very interesting to see the different age levels that people get started and still take it to a pretty high level. Aashita, could you please tell us how you got involved in learning piano and playing piano?
So basically, it all started with just a mini keyboard. Like in India, there's a trend. So you start with the keyboard. Like basically, I started, and my father is into the same field. He's a very good vocalist, and I somehow like basically combined the piano, guitar at the same time, and into the schools and then colleges and then practicing that. And it took a turn when I didn't want to pursue music and wanted to pursue psychology. So I opted the psychology as the main subject. But in the colleges, I went to every competition and they started kind of praising that you have good skills. So I worked on them. And then I started the social media, the Facebook, Instagram. I put a lot of videos. So some of the videos got viral. So then I thought that I have something which is something big. So I should take it as well, seriously. So I started the piano on a serious note. And now I'm thinking to pursue with the music production.
Here in Canada, we have an organization called the Royal Conservatory of Music, and they have examination levels from 1 to 10, and then they have more advanced exams that you can take to become a teacher or focus more on performing. How does it work in India, Sarika? So are there a couple different organizations people can follow?
Yes, I would say the most popular one is Trinity College of London. So most of the big schools over here follow the curriculum from there, which is where you start at initial and you go to grade 1 to grade 8. And how the exam is structured is it's a 100-mark exam, and it's divided between examination pieces. It's like Western classical music and technical work and some scales work and sight reading and oral tests. So listening skills and theory. So you'll have a 100-mark paper for practical and a 100-mark paper for theory. And those examinations take place twice in a year in May and November. And you have an examiner coming in from the UK, and then they would meet the students over here who enroll with these schools, and they take these exams, and then we get certificates. And those certificates can be used by these students for getting through undergrad universities or extracurricular activities anywhere. So that's quite a popular way of students learning in India.
When it comes to studying music, what is the perception of taking online lessons versus finding an actual teacher and learning one-on-one online and also going in person, so going to a school? Sarika, how would you rate the three different levels?
I would say that students definitely prefer to come in person because you get the personal touch and that you're able to learn dynamics and articulation and so many other techniques can be taught when you are in person. But given the situation that we are at the moment with the lockdown, the advantage of that is that teachers are able to teach students across the world, and you don't have to be in the same city or go to that school. You could be learning from wherever you are, and that's now possible. So I feel like students are now kind of opening up to the idea of learning online. It's a little bit challenging. There are different platforms which teachers can use to customize the coursework, to make it as personal as possible. And students are also evolving to that idea, but I feel like in India we haven't got there yet, where everybody would just completely switch online yet. They're still a little bit apprehensive, especially for the younger students who are just starting out, and they're still discovering their voice, discovering their skill sets. It's a little bit different because a parent has to be more involved instead of the teacher sitting with the student and then showing them how to play the keys and how to sit in a certain posture, and how to write out notes and do some theory. It's very different, very difficult to do that online unless the student is a little bit older and they're able to, kind of understand on their own, and you're able to give them homework and they come back and then you could check it. But it depends, like, from age group to age group. So I would say in person is definitely more personal, and you could, and but people are moving online now and seem to be getting used to it.
And Ashita, when you learned on your own, did you feel that this was the way to go for you? Was there a barrier to entry to taking piano lessons? Or did you find that it was just the easier way to go, just to be able to find all the information online and learn that way?
I would call it as an escape, because when you are into a regular kind of a class, then you have a pressure, which which can be termed as you stress. Basically, you have a stress that I have a class, I have to submit the lesson, and the teacher is monitoring my hand positions, everything. And then there's a competition as well, that from over time I have to improve from this or that person. If you're in a combined class, they combine, like, you give the exam, so you get yourself evaluated on the basis, like, what are you doing? Tell us about you. What, like, how you started? What are you doing?
Absolutely. Yeah. For myself, when I started piano lessons, I was 9 years old. I used to play hockey. So, hockey in Canada is very popular. But at the time, it was starting to get very aggressive, and my parents wanted to take me out of hockey. And for some reason, I really loved piano. When I would go hang out with my friends, they all had a piano at their home for some reason. And my friends would go play their video games, and I would just be sitting at the piano, playing the rum bum bum rum bum bum rum bum bum, and I would just be figuring out different tunes like that, whatever I could learn. And eventually, I asked my parents to put me in piano lessons. So they found a school. I ended up taking piano lessons there for many, many years. I then started teaching there. After that, I moved to a different studio. Now we have an organization called the Royal Conservatory of Music here in Canada. So I completed all of their levels that they have. And in university, I actually didn't study music. I was teaching piano while I was studying mathematics and economics. And I ended up being able to pay for my degree by teaching piano. And then when I graduated, I continued teaching piano, but I started my own school, and it was kind of a mobile school. So I didn't have an actual location. I was traveling to students' homes, and I had another teacher working with me as well. So then we would cover certain areas of the city. And then I ended up getting into a retail business, and that started to become very busy. I stopped teaching one-on-one lessons for a while, and then I started being asked more and more if I could teach people, especially adults. And that's kind of what motivated me to manage my time a little bit better. So I started pianohooks.com, which is an online music lesson platform. So people can watch video lessons and learn how to play piano for a very affordable price. And then that allows me to focus on making more content and not have to teach students one-on-one. So I decided to find a more efficient way so people who might want to just play for fun, we don't have to go through the whole traditional method of learning sight reading and technique and this and that. So I focus on just fun songs and on this online platform. So the YouTube channel, I do all these free tutorials of popular songs. I'm looking for the trendiest songs, and international as well. So Sarika, just ending here, how can people find you and maybe even reach out to you to get a little bit of assistance in their own music education?
Yes, so I have my own Instagram page. It's at pianist.sarika. So mostly people reach out to me over there, and then we schedule a time to talk, and we talk about the piano lessons. I'm based in Bangalore in South India, and I'm also affiliated with the Furtado School and with their store as well. So if anybody's looking to buy a piano in India, I'd be happy to get them the best deal possible.
Perfect. Yeah, we were talking about barrier to entry in music. And if you can make that easier for new students, that would be great. And Aashita, how can people reach out to you? And if they have any questions about taking their music lessons further, how can they go about doing that?
Yeah, I'm mostly active on Instagram, and then I'm collaborating and creating very good content, trying to, just so you can add me on Instagram. The name is like double ASHITAKEYS, Ashita Keys. And apart from that, if you would like to get an instrument from India or any other instrument, specifically piano, then you can reach out. There's a store, Lajpat Nagar, Theme. So you just contact me and I would definitely get some more information on detailed prices and every model.
Well, thank you very much, ladies, for accepting to be on this interview here, this podcast called Musical Chairs. I'm looking forward to working with you and doing some collaborations in the near future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having both of us. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and getting to know more about you as well. And looking forward to collaborating with you too.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much. And we will be speaking very soon.